Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Flutter Explain. It's time again for another list method. Today I decided for reduce, and because reduce is very similar to fold, I would like to explain you what the difference is between these two methods in Dart. But before we started with today's episode, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And now let's get started. Let's start with a simple list of integers and use the reduce method. Here we have a variable named numbers, and our task is to subtract all numbers and print the result. For that, I will create a new variable and name it subtract. Now I write numbers and call the reduce method. Let's have a closer look at this method. Reduce will iterate through our list and executes the provided method on each element, and at the end return a single value of the type of elements in our list. So easy enough. That means here we will get an integer. Therefore, I replace the var with int and pass here a function. In this function, I pass two elements and will subtract the second element from the first one. Let's print the subtract and see what the result is. As expected, we get the subtraction of all numbers in our list. In our next example, we want to concatenate the names and print all as one. Here we have a list of names. For solving this task, we create a new variable and call it combined names. And this will be equal to the names dot and call the reduce method. Now we will pass an arrow function and pass two elements, the first name and the second name. And as return parameter, we will add these elements together. And when we print it, we will get a long string which is Max et Sarah Peter. In our last example, we have a list of friends and each friend has a name and an age. We want to sum the age of all friends and print it as total. As I already explained, the reduce method will return us the same type as of the type of elements in our list. Therefore, I will create a new variable SumFriend, and this is from type friend. To solve this task, we use myFriends and call the reduce method. Here we pass an arrow function with two elements. This method will return a new friend. Here I pass SumFriend is name, and for age I will add the age of first friend to the second friend. To print the total age, I will call SumFriend, and with dot notation of Dart, I will call the age. Here we go, we get the total age of all friends. Excellent, so far we understand how reduce method works in Dart. Now let's have a look in our Flutter application and see how we can use it there. I'm using again the same boilerplate as we had in our fold tutorial. You can find the link to that tutorial in the info box and the link to the GitHub repository in the video description below. And now let's start it. In our application, we can add an item and its price and show it in table. Each item has an item name and an item price, and we have a list of items, which is items, and it's at the beginning an empty list. Here we have two tasks that we want to solve. First, we want to calculate the total expenses of all items with the reduce method and show it in a separate data row. Secondly, we want to use the fold method to calculate the rest budget from our initial budget of $200 and show the result as a data row. To solve our first task, we want to use the reduce method. I think the fold would be the better solution here, but to stay in the concept and learn about reduce method, we will solve it with the reduce method. For that, we will use our list of items and map it to a list of item prices. The reason for that is because if we call the reduce on the list of item, this will return us the type item, but we want to calculate the total of item prices. Therefore, we need at first a list of item prices. Now we call the reduce on this list. The return parameter is from type integer, and now we can calculate the total expenses. To calculate the expenses, we pass an arrow function into the reduce and give two parameters and add these together. And last but not least, I will convert the return parameter to a string with toString. Because our item list is at the beginning empty, we have to use the ternary operator. If the list is not empty, we will show the result of the reduce method, and if the list is empty, we will show 0 as a string. In our second task, we want to calculate the remaining budget. Let's assume our budget is $200. If we add now more items, we reduce the $200 by the item price per item. For that, I will use the fold method. If you don't know how fold works, you can find in the info box the link to my fold tutorial. In the fold method, we can pass an initial value. And this is great because here we can give 200 as our initial value and pass the combine method, which will be executed on each element of our list. The method will take two parameters. The first one is previous value, which is our initial value, and the element is each element in our list. The return of this method will be the previous value minus element. That means, for example, our rest budget is $200 minus the price of first items. And the result of that going to be our new previous value for our next calculation. Now let's add some items in our app and see how this works. As you can see, the total expenses at the beginning is 0 and the rest budget is $200. Now I will add a book for $10 and add a lunch for $20. As expected, we have a total expenses of $30 and the rest budget is $170. Fantastic everyone, we made it! Today we learned about reduce method and the difference of that to fold method in Dart. Additionally, we learned about how we can use such a method in our Dart application. I hope you liked this video. If you are new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. And now have a great week and take care of yourself. See you!